the men's room is on the way, and when I passed by, the door was open. And I'm always curious about what's in the condom machines in men's rooms. Is it the same as in the women's room? So I decided to take advantage of the opportunity and go look. And as soon as I was 2 steps in the door, I saw the shoes inside the cabinet. But it was the soles of the shoes that seemed odd. So I went over and tapped on the door and asked if the person was all right. When there wasn't an answer, I gave it a little push to see if it was locked. It swung open, and she made an expansive gesture with one hand. There he was. Boussicault opened his mouth, but before he could say anything, Alan appeared in the restaurant doorway, his body momentarily blocking the early evening sun. He crossed the room, wrapped her in a long hug, then peered into her face. There was a delay on the metro. Are you all right? What's happening? I was a little shaken, but I'm fine. She sat back down. It's nothing to worry about, really. He sat down next to her. You're developing quite a tendency to stumble across murder in your middle age. Rachel waved a hand dismissively. Hardly a tendency. One 18 months ago and one now. Anyway, she looked at Boussicault. This might not even be a murder. Although, of course it is. It is. Boussicault nodded. Murder by ligature, strangulation, to be precise. What were you doing over here anyway? By over here, Alan meant in Paris's 2nd arrondissement. He and Rachel lived in the 6th arrondissement, across the Seine and a good half-hour's walk away. A walk that, on this day of blasting July heat, would be more likely to keep Rachel inside than tempt her to go out. It was the hymns, she said. The hymns Valerie's friend asked me to write. Alan nodded. He was very familiar with these hymns, a commission from a church committee on the recommendation of a friend. They had been proving difficult to write for 2 months, and he'd heard all about Rachel's struggles. I tried all day, she said now. And finally around 4, I thought I could go to the Bibliothèque Nationale for inspiration. I checked online, and they have a lot of medieval religious manuscripts at the site in the next street. She jerked the thumb to the right, indicating the location of the Bibliothèque Nationale's site on the Rue de Richelieu. I took a Valibre just to feel some sort of breeze, but by the time I got here it was only a half an hour until the library closed. So I went to Bistro Vivienne. Alan nodded again. Bistro Vivienne, his wife's favorite restaurant, sat on a corner across from the bibliothèque. But it was full, Rachel continued. I couldn't even find a space to stand at the bar. So I started walking back to the Valibre rack, and on the way I saw this place. I had a spritzer, and then I went to the bathroom. But the men's room door was open, and you couldn't resist the condom machine. Right! Only 2 steps over the threshold, and Rachel stopped. A technician had come into the room and crossed to speak to Boussicault. He kept his voice low. The Capitaine nodded, and the man sank backward toward the hallway, his white paper suit slowly dyed gray by the gloom. Rachel's natural detecting antenna tingled. What was that about? The Capitaine shrugged. Is there something about the body? Did they get a time of death? Did they find a weapon? The Capitaine gave a little smile. He might have felt respect and perhaps some warmth toward Rachel by the end of their earlier investigation. But his face said he was still a policeman first, and policemen did not answer questions from civilians. He shrugged one of the huge shrugs at which the French excelled and said, It was nothing. Thank you for your time, Rachel. You've been very helpful. Rachel didn't see that she'd been helpful at all, but he snapped his pad shut and rose. If you will excuse me, I must go. Didier will help you out. His young blonde brigadier, familiar to Rachel from 18 months ago before, appeared as if conjured by his name. He waited stone-faced as she rooted under the table for her bag. Rachel didn't like this blankness a year and a half ago, and she found she still didn't like it now.